Hi, welcome to About the Flick. It is nearly Christmas. It's Christmas every day when you're Alonzo Duralde, but like on your calendar, like for other people, it's almost
It's
Christmas.
after Thanksgiving, so you know it's on.
It's almost the most wonderful time of the year. And so there's a movie that came out last week called The Man Who Invented Christmas, starring Christopher Plummer, and it really always originally was meant to star Christopher Plummer. Kevin Spacey was not playing Scrooge originally. Please tell us about it.
So The Man Who Invented Christmas, the book, is a fascinating story about the process by which Charles Dickens wrote the immortal story A Christmas Carol, and also places the popularity of that story in the context of the ever-changing history of Christmas. The movie doesn't really quite do either one of those things. It's about Charles Dickens trying to write this story and having the characters following him around and nagging him until he gets it done. Take a look.
So he's had a couple of flops? Well, who hasn't?
You have a new book in mind?
Oh, of course he does.
I've run out of ideas.
Are we in trouble?
No, of course not.
Pickpockets, streetwalkers, humbug. Those people don't belong in books.
Charles!
It's about a miser, and on Christmas Eve, he meets some kind of supernatural guides.
How do you make a world come alive? I could almost see and hear them people.
Even if you'd already written it, we couldn't possibly get it printed and distributed in only 6 weeks.
If I can't finish it, I'll never write again.
So basically, you know too much. As always, you know too much.
No, I
and so you read the book, and the book is better. Yes.
Well, yes,
Okay.
I read the book and the book is better. But here's the thing: the movie never explains the title.
Well,
You don't
does
really
Dan
know
Stevens
why.
Not create Christmas based on the book?
In this movie, he writes a popular Christmas story, but like the idea of the man who invented Christmas actually makes sense in a historical context, but you don't get any of that historical context in this movie. I mean, Christmas was a thing where, you know, originally one of the popes moved the birth of Christ to December to sort of glom onto like the Saturnalia and the Yule and all these sort of popular pagan year-end festivities. It became so sort of licentious and bawdy that Oliver Cromwell banned it. The original Pilgrims in America
banned Christmas?
banned the celebration of Christmas. And there's a character in the movie that says, "Oh, Christmas is such a minor holiday." And at the time it was, but for modern audiences, I don't think they're going to get that. I mean, my sister-in-law saw this with me, and she's no dummy, and she was like, "Wait, what? What is he talking about?"
I mean,
and so I feel like that's missing from, if you're going to call a movie The Man Who Invented Christmas, you better explain why that is and how that is.
Yeah, so I was watching it with Nick, and that line, and also just the sense that there was like economic strife, and all of that contributed to the idea, for me at least, that like it was a different time, and all of the societal mores that we now know did not exist, and the traditions, whatever. So I felt like they explained that like sufficiently in a line or two. Like, because Nick asked me, like, was Christmas not always like this? And I'm like, I guess not. I guess you didn't always go to the mall and see Santa. I don't know. So I felt like they did a decent job, and this is really more about the performances and the playfulness of the narrative structure, right? Toying with these characters that we have known forever.
Right.
I don't know that Dickens actually talked to himself. Did Dickens actually talk to him? Was that his creative process?
I do not know,
He
but
did the voices all to himself in the room.
Well, I mean, apparently yes. Like he was sort of a failed actor. I've read that description of him, that he did like to sort of act this stuff out. But the whole thing about being followed around by the characters, it's like, it's a little cute.
It's cute.
It's a little too cute.
Yeah.
I liked Plummer a lot. I would love to see Plummer play Scrooge in just a straight up
one-man show.
A one-man show or just a straight up Christmas Carol adaptation. Like, you know,
is Ebenezer
he
Scrooge.
really, I think, could just tackle that with gusto. But
He has a lot just with his face alone, just like various scowls, various versions of a scowl, yes.
Whereas I thought Dan Stevens was just kind of not super interesting as Dickens.
He's kind of doing a Johnny Depp thing here and there, where there's like a there's a playful kind of devil may care. But I like him. I think it's easy to underestimate him because he's very pretty, right? And then you put him in something like Beauty and the Beast, where he's covered up in fur the whole time. And
no, I've liked
do
him in
more than
things.
that.
I still need to see The Guest. Everybody tells me I got to see
Really
The
good in
Guest. I got to see The Guest.
Yes. Well, what he has to do here, he has to do something which is tough, which is, you know, externalize the internal creative process.
Sure.
So that's a hard thing to convey on film. And so he has a good job of that, and, you know, juggling that he's a family man, and then you get glimmers into the themes that inspired his work throughout, like shining a light on the poor and the disenfranchised. You get it. practical examples in his daily life of how he found those people.
And they do sort of bring up when he was a kid, he had to go work in this factory putting labels on boot black because his father got sent to debtor's prison, and that
Jonathan Pryce,
that plays a big role in a lot of the Dickens stuff, and the movie does that part okay, but it does a thing that I hate in author biopics, where everybody around Charles Dickens is giving him all the best lines from the book and he's just writing them down. So people say things like, a poor excuse to pick a man's pocket every December 25th, or are there no workhouses? I'm like, oh, come on.
And someone says, God bless us, everyone.
Yes, it's like, it turns Dickens into a stenographer, and I hate that.
That happens.
That happens a lot in movies like this, where it's not enough to show us how an author gets inspired. It's like literally somebody has to hand him the keys. That drives me nuts.
I'm blanking on the name of the director.
Bharat Nalluri. He did. It's the guy that did Miss Pettigrew Lives for a Day, which I liked looking at more than watching. This one, I will say, does have a deep bench of British character actors, which is fun. So like illustrator John Leach is played by Simon Callow. Miriam Margolyes plays like the head of the household for the Dickens family. Jonathan Pryce, as you mentioned. Like there's a lot of fun folks in it. And you know, it does the other thing that I've noticed a lot in Christmas Carol adaptations, where they'll get the set pieces right in terms of like what the rooms would look like and the furnishings and that kind of thing. But then there's this blinding light coming through the window. Like, there's even a line where Dickens is like leaning us when he goes, oh, this damn London fog. And it's like, you're in Malibu. What the hell? It is so sunny.
It is definitely borrowing the Spielbergian, Janusz Kaminskian, like streaky lighting, but it's like a bolt. It's like a giant square block of light. Yeah, so they don't just do like subtle streaks to create a moment. No.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be like, fog-bound, wintry London with soot in the air, and it's like, this is really clear. Like, anyway.
So your number is low.
Yeah.
Do you think like your number is low because you know too much? Like if you're just the average person who had not written a book about Christmas movies, is it possible that you might have liked this better?
It would appear. For a while, I was the only rotten review on Rotten Tomatoes, and I have to say, of all the years I've been a film critic, I have never been served such epic shade as by Bleecker Street, the distributors of this film. They sent me a piece of coal.
Wow. Well, you had it coming. It was long overdue.
And they made a donation in my name to a homeless shelter, so that was very nice.
There you go. Thank you, Bleecker Street. Very clever. All right, but your number remains low.
It's a 5, yeah. I read the book, really. The book is great. This movie is kind of whatever.
Alonzo will not be shamed into raising his number for you. I'm saying 6.5, so we're at a 5.8. It is at 80% on the tomato meter, so I have the sense that it's like,
for some people it's hitting.
Or like just not missing.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see what that versus the Metacritic number, because even the positive reviews that I've been reading on Rotten Tomatoes aren't necessarily like bowled over with enthusiasm.
It's PG, it's kid friendly. I mean, there's like bleak workhouse stuff and
you could take kids and then read them the actual book, because it's great.
Bye.